This episode of Inside the Architect and Designer Awards is sponsored by Design in Detail. For more than 15 years, Design in Detail has been the go-to resource for designers, offering an exclusive array of furniture, fabric, wall covering, lighting, and carpets. At the showroom in Maplewood, every corner is filled with inspiration. Design in Detail's commitment to excellence means they only carry the very best vendors in the industry, ensuring that every piece in the collection sparks your creativity. Whether you're designing a cozy corner or an entire space, let Design in Detail be your starting point. Visit designindetailstl.com to get started today. Today I'm here with Jenny Rausch from Karr Bick Kitchen Bath. Welcome to Inside the Architect and Designer Awards miniseries. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Veronica.
Welcome to the miniseries. It's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I always love all of the turquoise that you wear.
Oh,
it's so beautiful.
I know. I love turquoise. I can put it into and wear it at any time.
Yeah,
it also goes stylistically. If you notice, like my projects, the things I really like tend to have a more Native American flair or some kind of piece in there somewhere. That's what I love.
Yes, me too. So the primary bathroom is what we're going to talk about today. And I know that it is part of a larger home renovation project. Mm-hmm. Talk to us a little bit about the scope of that particular project.
So this house is almost the sister house to my house. It's my neighbors across the street.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's a cedar shake, turn of the century. Turn of the 1900s, not 2000s.
Such a great house, by the way.
Yeah, and something that it needs a lot of work because it's old. And this is a neighborhood that people live in generationally. So the people that lived in our house before us and their house before them were there 40, 50 years. So a lot of times towards the end of that, you don't have a lot of renovation. So the interesting thing is that it's very original. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to stick with the original architectural features, but then update it for a busy family with three very active young kids. So the bathrooms were old. The bathroom had been updated, but the bedrooms needed love. The homeowner had thought he was going to do some projects, and he had started to close up some doors, but never finished it, that kind of thing. And the wallpaper in the hallway was pretty original, and it was just peeling off the walls. So it was probably been there for 50 years. So it was kind of where do you stop and start on a project that size? So we decided to do the whole second floor and the stairwell, formal stairwell.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And how long did that take you?
I have no idea.
Still a work in progress.
It took a while. I mean, a renovation of that size takes a while, but I think they were probably moved out of the upstairs for 5 months.
Okay.
Robbie and Sarah would probably tell me my math is crazy, but it felt like about that much. And yeah, it was really a fun project to work on. And I could visit it all the time, which was probably good and bad because I was always like, hi, can I come over?
And so the bathroom itself, what did the homeowners tell you that they wanted for the look of that room?
So it's the hall bath. So it accommodates all of the kids' bedrooms. So all three kids are in there at one time. And it was a smaller footprint. So what I typically do is I root around in people's closets and, look for space wherever I can find it. And there was a closet that backed up to the bathroom. That was like the perfect giant shower size. Oh. And so there was a hall closet because we did a laundry room, mudroom at the same time. So we took the hall closet, turned it into the bedroom closet, took the bedroom closet and made the bathroom bigger, and then gave them 2 sinks, changed the way the toilet was oriented so that you could get into the bathroom without bumping into the toilet, little things.
Right. Yeah. And I love that shower in particular, the tile work. Tell us about that.
So the arch opening was something that I kind of thought of halfway through because I wanted it. It's a big shower, which isn't typical of a house that age, but if it had an architectural detail to it, it just made it more interesting. And then we had picked originally subway tile, and because I was visiting the job all the time, I went over when the tile setter was there and I started playing with the pieces on the floor, and I'm like, let's not make this typical and add the soldier courses, and you can do a lot with pattern without changing color, just directionally. I enjoy that detail when you're using kind of the same material in different ways rather than contrasting materials, because I think it lends itself to longevity in terms of design. And it feels more historic. Like if you go, like my favorite hobby is touring old houses in the United States or castles in Europe or whatever. And so the details that they thought of in those different times are kind of what I'm drawn to. So I'm always trying to recreate that.
Tell us about the soldier course. What is that exactly for?
Oh, yeah. So I guess I should say that a soldier course is just when you take a subway tile or a rectangular tile and you run it vertically so that it stands up like a soldier.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. And where do you like to source your bathroom materials?
Well, we sell everything. So the other thing about this project, which I loved, was it was the powerhouse of Karr Bick. So it was our construction team, it was our kitchen and bath space planners, me, and then I wore the second interior designer hat. So we got to pick absolutely everything, including the artwork, which was really fun in that project. So when you use all of our, three-dimensional abilities, the project is, it usually turns out really spectacular.
And about that, the artwork and the wallpaper, some people might be surprised to see that in a workhorse bathroom. Mm-hmm. Why does it work? And tell us a little bit about those decisions.
Well, it's vented. It's got a lot of good ventilation. The shower is somewhat enclosed, so it's not super steamy space. And I think anytime you add detail, like the wainscot paneling and the ceiling is a sky blue and the walls have this bird kind of botanical pattern, it just makes the space more comfortable, more homey, more usable. And when you elevate something like that, so they have young kids and they were worried because the previous, if you saw that level before we did this, it was chaos and it didn't seem like anybody cared. But it's incredible how a really nice space, even for a 7-year-old, they understand it and they take care of it better. And they didn't believe me, but it is actually happening. So, and that's kind of fun.
That's a great lesson to learn young, right?
Yes.
And talk to me about the paint color. Is that a color that you find in other parts of the house, or is that exclusive to this particular bathroom?
No, yes. So we used these really deep greens, forest greens, different shades of greens. Greens to me is a neutral because it's color in nature. Yep. And it's my favorite color, so I try to use it all the time. I'm always pushing people towards green because it really does go with everything. And so that particular shade of green is just in that bathroom, but we have other shades of green throughout. We used a really almost dark, moody palette because it's an old house with big rooms and lots of windows and lots of light. So it's full of like yummy Farrow and Ball colors and William Morris papers, and it's very botanical and really organic, and it just feels good to be there.
Yeah. And the runner is really nice in this bathroom. How do you think about the pattern selection? Obviously, there are a lot of different patterns in this room. What are some of your tricks for combining patterns?
So I think as long as the color palette works, and you have different scales, you can do it really, really effectively. I unfortunately do most things by what it feels in my gut.
Yeah.
And so if I see something together and it makes my stomach hurt, that's good. That means I really like this and we should for sure do it. Like you get to a certain point in life where you're like, okay, I got to trust that inner feeling that I have. And if you aren't somebody that has that, you just need to find somebody that does have that and hire that particular person.
Right.
So we used a lot of vintage rugs in this project just because it's that whole sense of age that it's been there for a while. Like I never want anything to feel like it all got completed at one time and we just did it in an old house like that. It has that kind of collected over time feeling, which is, I think, what lends itself to being so comfortable and cozy. And when they came to our house, Robbie said, I don't really know what I want. I just want it to feel similar to your house, like how I feel when I come in here. And I mean, that's a big part of what we do. And it's so hard to talk about how something feels. But it's the guiding principle for, don't think, just do. It's everything I do is basically because of that.
Yeah. And tell us about the vanity and the wood that you selected for that piece.
Yeah, so it's a quarter sawn, white oak, very light stain. So the bathroom has a ton of contrast. So the floor is a black penny tile, the wainscot is green, the vanity is wood. There's lots of elements in there that you might think sound crazy, which is why you have to go watch the podcast on YouTube so you can see what we're talking about. But it really does work together.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about a project right now that you're working on that's inspiring you or, lifting you up.
Yeah, so we just got back from High Point Market. I don't know if you ever go to that. But
yeah, I have in the past.
you have to wear your walking shoes.
Yes.
And take
Long
your granola
distances,
bars in your purse. But I think what always powers me, and it happened there. So we went to like 28 showrooms on Monday, and I was so exhausted and I was fully drained. And a lot of it was similar. I wanted it to be different, but it's still a lot of grays and whites and beige and restoration hardware, which is great for some people, but for me, it just sucks my energy. And then Lauren had put on the list that there was an antique mall that we could go to if we had time, and we went. And so anytime anybody lets me use old things in their project, I am fully engaged and super interested. And that's really hard for people. So I have a couple projects right now where they're kind of trusting me, because if you show somebody, oh, look at this, oil painting, they're like, I don't get it. But then if you put it on the wall in their house, they're like, oh, now I get it. And it's hard because you can't return antiques, but usually anything that has an old element to it or a historic piece to it, or antlers.
Yes.
Or feathers.
Is styling a big part of what you do on your projects?
Yeah, so it's the fun part about the photography, and we try to shoot as many jobs as we can, is that I get to drag with me everything that I would put in that space if I lived there, because we stage all of it, and it's fun. I think that's actually how the interiors kind of started for us, is everybody wanted to buy everything that we brought, and they wanted us to leave it exactly the way we, because there could be a whole show on just what accessories does to a space and how transformative it is, and how it gives it a certain voice, that it doesn't have without those things. So yes, we, in this particular project, most of what I brought for the photography stayed.
Oh my gosh. What a compliment, right?
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite bathroom materials that you just are beautiful, but also very durable and practical?
So I don't like durable and practical. I knew you were going to ask me this question. I'm like, how do I answer this? Well, the answer is most things that are durable and practical are not very interesting. And so to me, it goes back to, there are some porcelain tiles that are really pretty, and large format tiles that you can use that have less grout. That's easy. The quartz materials, they're not impervious, but they do hold up very well. We've started to use granite again, like brushed and sueded granite, because it's super durable. Some limestones that are suitable for outside have great texture. But I think it goes back to training your human beings on how to use the space. And materials are not durable when people are too hard on them. Right. And I know it sounds crazy, but we have nice stuff in a pretty nice house and lots of kids and their friends. And somehow they all recognize the fact that, maybe they shouldn't take juice upstairs or whatever. So,
And so what do you have on the countertop here?
It's actually a quartz. It's like an imitation concrete. So it's a brushed concrete look. So it's gray, it's textured, super durable, because they do have colored toothpaste, and it's just a white porcelain sink. And that the other reason we did the wood cabinets is because wood is going to hold up better than a painted cabinet. So,
Makes sense.
yeah, and it shows less human error, you know, when it happens. It shows less accidents in the wood. So,
and do you have a treatment or anything in particular on the ceiling, or is that paint?
It's paint. We did sky blue.
That's right. You
sky
mentioned
blue
the blue
up there, yeah, on the ceiling, just to give it a different dimension. And the fun thing was, Robbie and Sarah were super adventurous, and they were like, yeah, let's try it. Let's do it. Let's do the drama. Let's do that. Most people are like, oh, I really like that, but I'm afraid. And for some reason, they were relatively fearless in this project. And that was really fun for us.
It sounds like they trusted you.
Yeah.
Obviously. And so for designers who are interested or thinking about entering the competition this year, what advice do you have for them?
Throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So I think the key to winning is, first of all, your photography and the quality of your photography and caring about your photography and kind of being in charge of the views and, you know, like working with a photographer who's willing to work with you on your taste and style is really crucial. We love our photographer. She lets me stand behind the camera and point. So, you know, not all photographers will let you do that.
Right.
And then we just take everything that we think is beautiful and enter it in large quantities. And, you know, for instance, I entered something in a specialty room, but you can enter it in other categories. It was a dining room that I did at the same time, and the dining room won. And I would never have expected that, but we, you know, threw it to the wall and it stuck. So that's what I tell everybody. Just enter.
Great. Well, thank you, Jenny, so much for your time.
You bet.
It was fun.
It was fun.